My name is Jason.
My name is Tom.
And this is a comic strip AP of Monster of the Week featuring the story of Robert Larousse. And when we last saw Robert, he had just been given a very sinister-looking book by Cynthia, the student who he was running around with the first time he infiltrated the Lombardi school. And the book has a picture of a goat head on the cover, which makes me think it's probably important to your investigation, Robert. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way myself.
Well, what do you do after she gives you this book? She has to get back to class. Where would you go?
I need to find somewhere out of the way. Honestly, I think one of the little reading nooks in the library might be the quietest place to go. People wouldn't be likely to disturb you there. And also it's where I went missing, quote unquote, accidentally, so I could just pretend that I've been sitting, distractedly reading there.
I think that's great. I assume you're going to try to hide in the library, you don't want to just be out in the open, or...
That's right. I'll go to somewhere in an obscure subject area, perhaps, that people don't frequent too much.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, so you do that. You are in a little study, Carol, or something, right? Mm. And you've got the book. What's your approach? You just kind of thumbing through it? Are you looking for big subheadings that look important, or what you're thinking?
Yeah. Well, actually, my first thing to do is something of a diversion, which is I'm just going to look at the front page, the little card bit with the stamps on, because I want to see what Cynthia's real name is. And then, after I've noted that to myself for future reference, I think subheadings are the way to go. I'm looking for perhaps successful tales of having dealt with a goat-headed, or actually we know it's not always the same animal, so but this particular monster, trying to recognise if it's the same one, and then what's worked against it in the past, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, so here's something you'll notice. This book is not labeled or cataloged in any way. This was not part of the library collection. It looks like Cynthia just grabbed this from somewhere in the school. She's not supposed to have it.
Right. Probably should have asked her about its provenance earlier, but never mind. Okay.
Well, that's why I asked if you were doing this surreptitiously or not. But I'll give you some time to kind of thumb through it. I'll tell you the basics, what you'll kind of learn just by kind of just going through it in a cursory manner before you start reading in more detail. It's a collection of writings, a sort of anthology of monks and priests throughout the last couple hundred years who have been observing appearances by this demon called Vassago. And Vassago takes various forms, most commonly a sort of goat-headed man form, very much in the image of what they believe Satan himself looks like, right? Yeah, exactly. But also occasionally a vulture-headed, man, things like that. Other animals get swapped in every now and then. And so it's been translated, which is helpful. You don't have to spend a lot of time worrying about that. And it just kind of goes through different historical instances, what they think they know about the creature, what the creature's trying to accomplish. It's a very, very rich text, a very rich resource. If you want to spend some time going in a little deeper, just give me a research roll.
Sure, I will do that.
Sorry, that's investigate a mystery.
Right, you are. Aha. With my +1 sharp, that is an 11.
Very good. Go ahead and hold 2, and, go ahead and just spend them. There's no reason to kind of delay here.
Okay. Well, I've already asked what can hurt it in the past, so...
You just point of order. You can ask that again to get more information as well. So.
Yeah, I might have to. Well, first of all, though, I'll ask what can it do?
I'm going to interpret that to mean what it's trying to do, I think. And it seems what the creature is trying to do is to recreate, or I should say, put on a sort of perverse version of Jesus Christ's marriage to St. Catherine of Siena, the sort of spiritual marriage that she participated in. the creature seems to want to recreate this marriage between itself and a woman in an effort to create essentially a surge of bad energy. Does that make sense? Like, the idea is to sort of pervert this idea of Christ's marriage to St. Catherine of Siena in order to sort of rip open the veil that separates dimensions, right? And allow Satan to enter the world.
Okay. And also presumably create a sort of anti-doctor of the church at the same time, since that's what Catherine of Siena was.
Indeed.
If it falls within the boundaries of the question, does it specify at all what kind of characteristics might be required of this mystical bride?
Not really. And I think it's a little, that part of it's a little unclear. And I think the people of the Lombardi school, these witches or cultists or whatever they are just taking a stab in the dark. It's probably why they haven't got it done yet, right?
Well, yeah, that would make sense.
Well, so what about your second question?
I think I had better ask once more, what can hurt it? Just in case there's any more specific guidance on that.
Yeah, so you pick up on the mirrors thing, right? Which we already know. The mirrors, it's the stories, like, of course, you've heard these already, stories as well. You learned this in Father Gondassi's, in his library. The mirrors are essentially uncomfortable for the creature. The creature doesn't like it. It turns away. It's a great way of getting it to, flee the area, right? It's by no means a method by which to banish the creature completely, okay? I will give you that, though. Purely theoretical. But there was one particular monk who believed he had figured out what the means of banishing Vassago for good, like a good 1,000 years at least, was. And that was the following. You're not going to like it. To banish him completely, we believe, he has to be disemboweled, and the cavity has to be filled with a combination of rock salt and silver. Totally untested, completely theoretical, but it's the only suggestion that you can find in the book about how you might go about doing this.
Yeah, well, your assessment that I would not like this is certainly correct. I guess I'd better pop out to the car to see if I remember to bring my really big knife.
Indeed. Why don't we go ahead and end the session there? Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.